Welcome to BlackUSA.news morning show. I'm your host, William Honolulu Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real. Greetings and salutations, all my people out there in internet land. I am William Honolulu Jr., and I have the privilege and honor of being the host of the Black USA News morning show. Great morning to you! Y'all probably like, why is he excited? He is doing the most this morning. I'm going to tell you why I'm doing the most. You want to know why I'm doing the most? One, I'm happy to be alive, so I'm being grateful for that kind of thing, because I've done a lot of work, and with all the stuff that's going on around here, I realized that it could have been the other way. The other reason I'm really excited is that I get to talk to a favorite friend of the show, Tomeka Givens. We're going to talk about real estate and how to make y'all some money and stuff like that. And not just make you money, because she told us, all right, so y'all know how it is. I'm all about the business life, how we going to make money, how we going to get paper. And she said, you know, there are people who buy houses too, just to like live in them. I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, is that what we want to? She's like, we need to talk about that. I'm like, but what about the business part? She said, we could come back and talk about business later. She said it. So, and we're going to have to come back and talk about business, the real estate business part of it later. But that's going to be part of the larger real estate. Well, I can't tell you about the real estate symposium. Okay, no. All right, never mind. We'll talk about it later. Okay. But yeah, I'm excited to talk to Tomeka today. We're going to talk about real estate and what's happening in the buyer's market, because it is not a buyer's market, or how buyers are dealing with the market. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and what's actually happening right now, and how you can protect and prepare yourself for if you have dreams of home ownership. As always, I want to give a big shout out to the super producer, Kyle Crazy Horse Morgan, and our assistant producer, Brandy Raymar. They're doing an amazing job making sure that we have the quality of content and the support necessary to bring you the type of show that you deserve. All right, let's see. You know what? We're gonna just jump into it. We're gonna bring Tomeka right here, because normally I do a lot of. No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna just talk about real estate, because a lot of you all have been telling me that you all are looking to buy houses, and so let's bring it. Hey, there she go. Hey, Tomeka, how you doing?
Happy afternoon, William? How are you?
Afternoon, morning, daytime, nighttime. It don't even matter, because we here right now, right? We're present in the moment. We are here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. I enjoy every time that you've been on here. I love the conversations that we have. See, that's the other thing y'all don't realize, that there's like a whole conversation that happens before we get here. Honestly, I think we might just start taping that, because some of that stuff is gold, and then we get on here, it's like, oh, you know what? That might not be it, because some of it's not professional. So that might be. Y'all know I'm wild. Y'all know. Okay. Anyway. So, Tomeka, we might have some new guests, some new people who are new to the show, and they may have missed some of your other appearances, or they may just not be on social media at all and not know what you're doing. Because if you're on social media and you're trying to do real estate stuff, especially in the DMV, baby, you want to know Tomeka Givens. But okay, let me show notes. I have to calm down and be professional. So, Tomeka, tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Tomeka Givens, licensed realtor here in the state of Maryland. I service Central Maryland and north of Southern Maryland. So Central Maryland all includes Greater Baltimore, that's city and county, surrounding counties, Harford, Howard, Anne Arundel, Prince George's, Montgomery, as well as Charles County. I've been licensed going on 9 years, and I've been full-time, which can be critical, going on 7 years. So I'm with Executive Home Realty. That's the brokerage in which I'm affiliated with. And I specialize in, I'm a certified new home co-broker, which is a fancy title for specializing in new construction sales. As buyers, you definitely want to beware. When you're buying new construction, you definitely want to make sure you're affiliated with a realtor who's familiar with new construction, as it is a totally different animal than pre-owned sales. Yeah, I previously super involved in our local board with Greater Baltimore Board of Realtors. Vice chaired the Equal Opportunities Committee for 2019 and 2020. In 2021, I sat on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. So yeah, pretty busy. Market is crazy, but have a real hard time talking about myself, and you know this about me,
I
William.
know. That's why I've been having so much fun watching you twist in the wind with that. That was so awesome. Oh my God, y'all. See, so what y'all like? So okay, because we don't keep it 100 on the show, but we at least keep it 85 with the people. So Tomeka is one of my really good friends and also a client, a business partner over the years. We've collaborated in the community, helped people. So yeah, there's probably a whole bunch of inside jokes that you all have not gotten the whole time that I giggle about later when I watch the replays. It makes me so I know what she was thinking. All right. So, but what I want people to really understand is all of those things together, all of the certifications, all of the trainings that she does, all of that equals guru. And that's what I need you to really understand because seriously, because that's what people sometimes don't get. I know we were talking before about these concepts of participation trophies, and once you have a title, then you should be rewarded. It's like, no, it's about putting in the work.
Yeah.
It is about understanding your craft. It is all about staying on top of your craft.
Yeah.
And being in the games self-sufficiently to be as this is the way you eat for 7 years, that's some really big stuff. So I just want to say big up to you and also all the rest of the entrepreneurs out there who are really on the grind. It's hard and we get it. And so if you still out there doing your thing, congratulations to you. And you got fans out here in BlackUSA.news.
Absolutely.
All right. So the nervous part right now is the part that's all right. Go ahead and tell us about the market, yo. It's like I'm sitting there like, oh man, just go ahead and do it.
Well, we are in a seller's market.
Okay, so as a layperson, you hear these things talked about, seller's market, buyer's market, equity. You should do this, and there's a lot of fucking damn it. There's a lot of information. Yeah, I gotta find. It's okay. All right. Well, now I'm also the general manager of BlackUSA.news. So now the messed up part we gotta talk about, like, I gotta find myself like that. I was thinking about because we gotta do invoices at the end of the month, and I'm like, I gotta send myself. I feel like I'm disrespecting myself. Anyway, wow, I just got way off topic. I apologize. So for a lot of it, like a seller's market, what does that mean? It seems like if somebody's selling something, it should always be a seller's market. That's not what you're talking about.
No. So in real estate, the market conditions are either a buyer's market or a seller's market. A seller's market it really comes down to who has the leverage. Inventory right now, housing inventory is low. Mm-hmm. And sellers have the leverage. They pretty much get to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo to prospective buyers. Whereas in a buyer's market, the buyers have more leverage and the buyers get to go. There's more inventory. So the buyers have more to choose from and they get to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So what's happening right now in this current market, as it is a seller's market, the inventory is low. And this is all the case because the inventory is low. The demand is what it is. It's high compared to that of what the inventory levels are. And so the prices, if you're buying right now, or if you aspire to buy right now, you are going to pay premium price. This is not the market to look for a deal. This is not the market to try to haggle. Unless it's a property that's been sitting and no one's checking for it. And typically, as hot as this market is, if there's a house that's been sitting and no one's checking for it, it's for a reason. So as a buyer, you definitely want to be aware of that as well. But anything that's halfway decent, even the houses that need quite a substantial amount of work are flying off the shelf at top dollar. For top dollar. So the sellers have the leverage. And so, houses are going for premium price despite the fact that they need work. It's like I said, most houses that are decent have a bidding war. Bidding war is where you have more than one buyer making an offer. And that's the moment where the seller gets to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. and you have to bring your A game. This is not the market, even down to and I mentioned before, well, not during this session here, but as a realtor, I have to be honest. I'm not a fan of the market. You know what I stand for as a realtor, and it's widening the wealth gap. If the lower moderate income buyers don't really stand a chance, even with grants and incentives, where they don't have to ask the seller for seller contribution towards their closing costs like they do in a buyer's market. Even with grants and incentives, it's a challenge, because when you factor in grants and incentives, especially the ones that involve the city or the state, that extends the time in which they need to close. Your lender needs to close. And so from the seller's vantage point, that's pushing back. For every 30 days the house is on the market, the seller has to pay a monthly mortgage. So if I got a buyer that doesn't need seller help and can close in 30 days or less, versus a buyer who also doesn't need seller help, but they have grants and incentives and they need 45 to 60 days, of course the seller's going to go with who can close the quickest. Those are essentially the offers that are winning, the ones that are offering the most, asking for the least, and closing the quickest. And even now in this market, you have people buying cash. You have
like buying the whole house in cash.
Yep, offering cash.
Now, is that good? Is that something that people should do if they have the cash, or is it better to get a mortgage?
Well, I'm not a financial.
So it depends on your financial circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I always say OPM is the name of the game. Even if you have the cash, other people's money.
Oh, because my dad, when he died, we got letters from OPM, and that was the Office of Personnel Management, the federal government. I was like, I don't think they're going to help us buy houses.
No. I'm saying you can have the cash, but if you can borrow it versus using your own cash, I'm just saying.
And just to, I do some financial, well, I have done financial planning and stuff like that. So even if you have the opportunity to get a mortgage, you also need to think about what you would do with the cash. Well, if you have the cash and can get a mortgage, you still have to think about what you will do with the cash and the alternative. So if you don't have to put it in the mortgage and you just go and spend it, just willy-nilly because you want to, because you have a mortgage, well, that might not be the best financial move. Now, is it a good mental and emotional help? Maybe, but making sure you understand that you would be spending that money on your mental and emotional health.
Right.
So yeah, just make sure that you sit down with somebody and be honest about who you are.
Right.
And so if I'm trying to buy a house, let's say I have dreams of home ownership. I would like that. And because what you're saying right now does not sound like dreams of home ownership. It sounds like dreams of problems. Sounds like dreams of a whole lot of money and spending a lot of stuff. So how can I best prepare as a potential homeowner or a potential buyer, so that I don't get overwhelmed or get hustled or end up spending way too much money?
So essentially, if you want to buy right now, you need to have some money saved, straight up. Even the lowest of at least $10,000 to $12,000 saved up, and that's minimum. That's if you're looking to spend $100,000. But you want to essentially, the less you have to in this current market, the less you need from the seller, the more power you have. So if you don't need seller help from the seller, you're good. If you don't need to ask the seller for anything, you're definitely good. So you want to have money saved. You want to have a reputable lender, meaning and when I say that, one of my go-to lenders that I've been rocking out with heavy, he's my go-to because he doesn't pre-approve, he fully approves. So what a lot of lenders do, unfortunately, they'll collect your paperwork, but they don't touch it until after you go under contract. And I feel like that's the ultimate setup. They don't, because you rather comb through the documents beforehand. And if there's an issue, you'll know it beforehand and address it beforehand. But unfortunately, the bulk of your lenders don't touch a buyer's paperwork until, after they get a contract. And then they'll.
And
So,
one of the reasons that lenders do that, from what I remember when I was in banking, is that the same reason that, you know, a lot of times it's difficult to, well, some people with new homes, one of the reasons that lenders do it, I'm not doing an example, but one of the reasons they do it is because you have a lot of people who come to the table believing that they're qualified, and then you approve them, you go through all the things, and it's a lot of work, and not a lot, but it's work on the front end, and then they don't end up closing, or for whatever reason, or you have to redo it every time after 60, 90, 120 days go by. And that's why they do it. But it's one of those things where, again, when people choose efficiency and profit, it leads to less positive outcomes for the people that they serve.
yeah, unfortunately, that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
So yeah, you know, the market is crazy. You have all types of rent backs are really popular right now because
Rent
while
backs.
it's a great, I'll explain that in a second.
Okay.
It's a great time to sell, but it's more of a challenge to buy. So you can list your house for sale, but you may not find something to purchase. Even if you're out there diligently trying, putting in offers, your offer may or may not get accepted. So what rent backs is the seller's request to occupy the house post settlement. So what lenders they allow a maximum of 60 days. But I have actually seen like a few listings and they're having the remarks, seller needs 90 days. I'm like, somebody needs to get an extended stay. You're getting tens of thousands over ask. Go ahead and invest in the Airbnb or an extended stay until you figure out what you're gonna do with your life after settlement. I'm just saying, like, but yeah, rent backs have become very popular. And I'm not a fan, even though it's in writing, it's contractual. And it's typically the price of a rent back is whatever the monthly payment is for the prospective buyer. We just take that and divide it by days. So if they need 10 days, we'll take 1 month's mortgage divided by 30, and 10 of that, is what we charge for rent. That's the standard, but it really comes down to what's affordable, or what's agreed, not even what's affordable, what's agreed upon between both parties in the transaction. Yeah.
Got it.
So yeah, go ahead.
So I was like, because that made me a little sleepy. I got to be honest. Like that was tired. Like, oh my god, this is gonna be so complicated. But so let's talk about. We've talked about kind of the challenges for the buyer and stuff like that. You mentioned before about the widening of the racial, particularly the racial wealth gap, or the wealth gap in general, but in this case specifically the racial wealth gap with these out of whack home prices. Is the converse true? So like if this is an opportunity to increase the wealth gap, could this also be potentially an opportunity to start building generational wealth for those who may be in possession of a property now? Because I'm like, the price is high, so you might be able to get at this time more than you've been able to get for it before. But I guess some of that would have to do with like, what do you do with that money once you get it? I guess, huh?
Right. If you're selling, yeah, you would get more than you normally would. But the thing is, for people who are trying to get into the home ownership game,
gotcha.
It's, and I wouldn't even stop at, yes, ultimately it does spill over into race, but just basically the haves and the have-nots, the people who want a piece of the American pie, they can't even get a leg in right now if they don't have like all cash on deck, so to speak, know?
So what does that mean for the rest? Does it just mean that if you don't have a rack of cash, if you don't have I want to take it as is, does that just mean you out of the game?
So, and by rack of cash, I mean at least your own closing costs. I don't mean you
need
to buy the house.
Yeah, and again, you said optimally about $10,000 on $100,000, so like maybe 10% optimally.
Roughly, because you have your down payment and then your closing costs. And then you also have your out of cost payments during the process, your home inspection, your appraisal, your earnest money deposit, all of that collectively. So remember, you're bidding against multiple buyers. And so right now, it's even to the point now where a lot of listings you see are listed as is. Like they don't even want to hear. You
So,
can get an
so
inspection. Oh, go ahead.
no, say so when you say as is, I want to put something. I want to try to make sure we get it in context.
Sure.
So as is, does as is mean like if I got holes in the wall, it is what it is, or does as is mean like if it passes inspection, we're good?
So as is on a case by case basis. Here's the fun fact about as is here in Maryland. So if you use the as is addendum in your transaction, it's as is with the right to terminate. So you can get an inspection, but the inspection is essentially an FYI for the buyer.
So it doesn't have any. So like if I sign something that says as is and I got an inspection and it is so much worse than I thought it was, like things that they've disclosed and it's like, oh yeah, no, this is it. Then yeah, this is bad, but I can handle that. But then I get Travis. Big ups to the okay, because we rep up people. Right. I get Travis to come in and he does an inspection like, bruh. On top of that, you got this, and this. Does that give me any leverage, or because I've already said as is, I'm just stuck with it?
You have leverage. So here in Maryland, we have it's as is with the right to terminate. So you can get an inspection, and if it turns out it's too much work, you're not interested, depending on how you complete the addendum in the contract, you can do as is with the right to terminate. If you don't like what comes up in the inspection or it proves to be more than what you budgeted to spend, you can walk away. You can walk away, get your deposit back, and you're not penalized.
So let's. I'm glad you brought up the whole addendum and the right to whatever the hell you just said.
Terminate.
Yeah, terminate. The addendum with the right to terminate. So we are, especially for a lot of people, you're talking about these incredible costs and stuff like that. So a lot of the first places people start thinking about reducing their costs is in personnel. So, and then I was just, when you said that, it made me think about it, especially as we're talking to buyers. It's like, you may, in order to keep your 10,000 cash so you can have a competitive offer, you may say, hey, you know what? A real estate agent, like I'm gonna have to take all this risk anyway. Why do I need a real estate agent when it's just, like they're just getting a commission on me choosing a house? Like, it's like, it feels kind of like a tip, or like a 10% or 3-4% tip, because it's like, it's like if you recommend something to me off the menu, like I was going to eat here anyway. But listening to you talk just now, just about knowing about the addendum with the right to terminate, because one of those, like even with that little right to terminate piece, without that, when Travis comes back with the asbestos lead paint and all that other stuff, you might be stuck with it because you didn't even know to look for that. Like, so, and I know I'm pivoting real quick, but I don't want to miss this opportunity to, and not just because you're a real estate agent, because you're my friend and I want them to give you business. By the way, all of those things are true, by the way. I need you all to contact Tomeka and give her business. I'm not playing.
Too much. I can't with you.
But I do, not again, outside of you. Talk a little bit about the value that a real estate agent brings, especially in a market with the buyer's market and all these things that are going on. Like, why is it important to have a real estate agent instead of saving maybe $5,000-$6,000 and shit in this market? I never find God say maybe even up to like $10,000 depending on what kind of house you want to buy. Why would I do that?
Well, as a realtor, and I won't compare myself to others because unfortunately, not all agents are created equal.
Oh, amen to that, because that's why y'all should give her money. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. That's why y'all should give her money, because all agents is not created equal. And she got a reputation and a portfolio of satisfied clients. I'm sorry. This is not your commercial. We're going to do your commercial later, though, because she's the truth. She's the truth. So again, I'm sorry. Go ahead. See, say important professional guru stuff.
You want to definitely get an agent that is reputable. But essentially, an agent is your one-stop shop for everyone else you need in this process. Like I said before, I can't speak for all agents because everyone is in this business for different reasons. And not everybody that's in this business should be in this business. I'll just put it out there.
Amen.
Some people get into it and they're all about the bag. And it's a side hustle for them. It's for them to make some extra money. So this is my full time. And I'm not knocking those that are not full time. But for me, I was full time my first 2 years, and I learned really quickly, if I'm gonna be in this to win this and service folk the way they need to be serviced, I have to do this full time. In addition to that, I take the contract as well as the addendums very seriously because that is a major component in my ability to service my clients the way they need to be serviced by knowing their rights contractually, you know, as well as even like with new construction. So with me being a certified new home co-broker, I had to take courses for that and learn because new construction contract is different. You know, new construction contracts are typically written for the builders.
Is it really that big a deal though? Because it's brand new. What could go wrong?
Are you kidding me? Like, yeah, even with new construction, you better get an inspection. And if you're still in the building process, you just started building, you want to do more than one, actually. And I always advise I have a client I'm about to close next.
More than one inspection?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you got to look at the bones. This is where you get to see behind the walls. So you want to have someone come in and inspect that. And then you want to inspect the finished product when they're almost finished building. I'll give you a quick story. I closed a client a few years ago down in Charles County. They built their home and I advised them to get 2 inspections. And of course they were, well, it's brand new. And, you know, they gave me a little bit of some lip with it. And I was like, listen, and then the superintendent was no help. He's like, well, I had my inspectors come out and the county came out, whatever, dude. So I looked at my client.
Your job.
Get a, you know, an inspection while we can see clean through the house. Right. Lo and behold, we got a inspection before they started putting up drywall. And their waste pipes this is a huge $500,000 single family and 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bath house. That's nice. And the waste pipes from the upstairs bathrooms, instead of it being like it's supposed to be at an incline, like at an angle, instead it was like this. And so what would have happened when the weather broke, because we closed in January, if they hadn't caught that, their toilets would have backed up. And mind you, they had beautiful hardwood floors. If that would have backed up, they would have to bust through their ceilings and all of that waste would have been, God knows.
That was new construction though.
Yeah, yes, new construction. So don't ever slip because it's new or assume because it's new or because it's renovated that, oh yeah, we're good to go. I'm not going to have any problems. No, and so the way I spent it to my clients, I said, look, you're about to spend $500,000 on a house. Spending over $1,000 for inspections for 2, it's an investment in your investment. Like don't half step on this. Get the inspection. So of course, after they found that, they were like, "Oh, what thing?" I was like, "Oh, now I'm the hero." But before they were all, there's cost versus value, and a lot of people need to understand that difference.
Nope. Got to stop you. You're gonna say that again. There's what?
Cost versus value.
Hey, one more time for the people who are just tuning in.
Cost versus value. A lot of people will bypass spending money to invest in their investment, but the value of finding out that they save themselves heartache, headache, and possibly a court date. Okay. Amen. And even more money down the line of getting that inspection before the drywall went up. They were like, "Oh, thank you so much." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Thank you. You're welcome." So yeah, long story short, they found an issue with the way the pipes were installed from the 3 upstairs bathrooms. And yeah, they had to go in and correct that.
So the real estate agents understanding and their knowledge base, their training, those things are really important because I guess if they don't have enough training or if they haven't been in the game, it may just be like going in there by yourself.
Right. So in addition to experience too, because here's the thing, you can be licensed 20 years. If you haven't sold none but one house in 20 years, just saying. You're not actually selling and getting the experience. Like even me being in the game 9 years, I still kind of consider myself a rookie compared to some of my colleagues. I mean, I'm not a rookie. I've sold, you know what I mean? I've sold millions.
Gonna come up.
Yeah. But, ultimately no transaction is the same. You can buy two houses right next door to each other. There's always going to be something different. So, and just learning, because, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the end to all or so on, but even little mistakes, I learn from them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you know me, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So if I make the smallest mistake, I promise you it won't happen again,
Right.
But for the most part, I'm very working with a realtor, because here's the thing, everyone's a real estate expert until they're not. All of these Zillow scholars and Redfin scholars, and I'm just like, okay, I don't even bother arguing with people. Well, the internet said, and I'm like, okay, we really gonna do this? In
Well,
fact,
there's sites on the internet that also says President Trump is still the president.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm sure they could find anything that they want on the internet. Hell, if they give me a call, give me $20, I'll create a couple pages for them myself.
Yeah. But you got everyone's an expert in real estate until they're not, until it's time to take that state board test. So that, and the one house wonders is what I call them. People that's bought one house and now they're a whole mogul and they know everything. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna argue with you. So yeah, I'm very, but I'm very in tune with the process. I leave no stone unturned. Even down to the people I recommend. Anyone who knows me in this industry, I am very selective in who I work with, who I recommend.
You know what? I know that to be true. So let's do this. Shout out some people that can help some of the borrowers that might be listening now, especially if they're in the Maryland area. Because I know, Travis is wonderful. We've been working with Travis for like a second, and he very highly rated, capable, a brother out here doing things in an industry that is not very welcoming to brothers. So let them know who the squad is.
So I have a few. I don't, always keep more than one. But Inspectors, Travis, MRP Home Solutions is wonderful. Dwayne with DMV Home Inspections is good. He services down like closer to DC, but he will come up to Baltimore too.
Okay.
Title companies, Marvin Reese, CLA Title. And I work with these people. The people I recommend, I work with them because they're knowledgeable in their craft. They genuinely care about the people they service, and they incorporate customer service as a part of their business model. Okay. If you anything short of that, you don't even need to call my phone.
So why are those things important?
Because I can't speak for others. I'm only speaking for Tomeka Givens. I don't just sell houses. I sell an experience. And so I need people to help that are going to contribute to my buyer's experience. So when you look at my, past client reviews, I don't tell them what to say. They say based on what's on their heart, based on their experience. And I make this process super easy and super seamless for my clients. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
that's a really big deal.
Is working with people who are knowledgeable. They're going to tell you what it is and tell you what it ain't. You may not like what you hear, but you'll appreciate it. Right. Honestly, I'm not out here splitting any atoms. I'm pretty much treating people the way I would want to be treated. Right. So
that's a really big deal because a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, no, they don't. A lot of, agents are just about the bang. And don't get me wrong, I'm about my coin.
Yeah, but let's make sure that's clear.
But, I'll let you know if this house going to need some work. And even if that means, and every buyer is different. Some buyers' budgets, I've sold houses when I'm like, this house needs some work. And the buyer's like, I don't care. My sister lives around the corner. We're both from California. The odds of me finding a house that's close to her in Baltimore, I'm cool with it. I have the budget to rip everything out. All right, cool. But the thing is, I told her. Right. And and she could plan for it. That. And that's what separates me from many, is that I conduct myself and my business in a manner in which I need to be able to sleep at night. So and that's honestly the secret to my success. I treat my clients the way I would want to be treated. I aspire to be the realtor that I would want to help me buy my house. So I leave no stone unturned. I don't care if you bought a house before. I'm going to treat you as though you've never bought a house. And see, in real estate, laws and regulations and stuff are constantly changing. So the last time you bought a house, things may have changed. So while you thinking is one is X, now it's Y. So I have to make sure that you're, cognizant of all, the things, all of the, laws and, policies that are out there as a buyer, so that the only surprises we like are on birthdays. I don't do surprises. So if I know of something, I'm gonna let you know as a buyer, and then we'll move from there. Yeah. So I think that is ultimately what separates, why you want to have a realtor. You don't want to buy without one. Can you buy without one? Yes. A lot of people do it. I can't tell you if people be in line at these new construction sites buying houses without a realtor. And you even know my story. I did it, and I'll say...
Actually, that's one of the ways you got into real estate, realizing some of the mistakes you made when you're trying to get them fixed.
Yes. So my first house, yeah, absolutely. And, that was a learning lesson. That was my first lesson, in real estate, so to speak. So just knowing that and understanding that, I'm like, yeah, people got to know how to navigate, and you got to have someone to represent your best interests. Can you go under contract without a realtor? Yes. Absolutely. But should you? Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
So, like, for example,
go ahead.
There are enough videos online about removing ingrown hairs. But if I have this huge pustule on the side of my neck, I should probably go ahead into the because again, I could watch it and see how they do this, and me and my sons get together because we're all smart. We could do this. But like when you hear me say that, it's like, okay, this is really stupid. Like that doesn't even make any sense. Like it really doesn't. Or you know what? I'm gonna set my own arm, or just anything, or how about this? I want to get my eye LASIK, and so I'm going to do some home LASIK because it's just science. It's just science, and we're smart. And again, that sounds stupid, but
a lot of people.
How about this one? I'm going to go to court by myself.
Yeah,
you could. You absolutely could. You could represent yourself. And if you have a simple enough case, if the house is everything you wanted, and the buyer you're comfortable with, the buyer seller, it maybe even might be between friends or whatever, you could do it. And right. Honestly, nothing bad may happen, but it might.
Right.
It's a risk mitigation strategy.
Going back to, the whole, when I said not all realtors are created equal, there are enough bad apples that have made us look bad, and they think we just show houses and collect a check. I can't speak for other realtors, but I know with me, I do way more. I do paperwork, I do negotiations that they don't even know about in the transaction. And I make stuff happen, and I make it so easy and seamless. And that's how it should be. This process should be celebratory. It should be happy. The buyer should be happy, the seller should be happy. Not stressful, not, oh my gosh, I couldn't get in touch with this person, and that's when I say I sell an experience. I leave no stone unturned. I stay in touch with my clients. I keep them alert of what's coming next. There's nothing for them to guess. They don't have to guess anything. I present everything. And if you trust me enough to follow my instruction, this process will be easy and seamless. I've had a client be like, am I really buying a house? I'm like, yeah.
I've heard other people's experiences, and this is
But typically when you hear the horror stories, it's because they were working with someone that either didn't know what they were doing or didn't care enough to educate while they navigated them from contract to close. And that's the difference, You got a lot of people. Go ahead.
One of the things you said before, again, goes for this whole price versus value thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, as you are looking at one of the values that hiring a real estate agent provides is a level of peace of mind. Yeah. But before they can provide you peace of mind, you need to know that they're the right person. So let's say it's me. I'm trying to find a house. I know you, I'm just going to call you, but let's say they don't know you like that. Y'all need to get to know her like that. We're gonna get her number at the end, okay? Stop it. But let's say that they lose this video, that like the end of the video, your number is, that they should just be able to Google Tomeka Givens. But anyway, and they want to prepare themselves because they want to, and to the extent, even if you do call it Tomeka Givens, go and talk to some other realtors.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I'm comfortable you're going to come back to Tomeka, but I would go talk to other ones. And so as I'm going around interviewing, because you're on the top of my list, but I am going to go and interview others.
Yeah.
What kind of questions should I be asking? Like, how do I know, how would I've never bought a house before, maybe. So how do I even prepare to know what to say to a real estate agent? Like, what documents, what information, what should I be prepared? Okay, now I've just stressed myself out and I'm not even buying a house right now. It's just a lot.
Well, first things first, if you've never bought a house, you should definitely take a home buyer workshop. I don't care what your price point is. If you have never purchased real estate, you should definitely take a home buyer workshop. And there are different agencies throughout the state of Maryland. I'm affiliated with 5. But,
okay.
They give you like the nuts and bolts of the home buying process. As far as vetting of an agent, I'm not afraid of a little competition. I'm very confident in what I know, and I don't even profess to know it all because, like I said, real estate constantly changes. But I'm okay with a little bit of competition. So if you want to interview me and some other agents, have at it. I'm a great agent, but I may not be everyone's cup of tea. So because I do have standards, just like when someone's interviewing me, I'm interviewing them too. The vibe has to be two-way. I never want to lock someone in and make them feel like they're stuck with me. If for whatever reason we're not vibing, let's agree to disagree, and you can be better serviced with another agent. So, and that's the thing, that's one of the critical things people have to understand. Like, even with my colleagues, just having a new client isn't, may not always be a great thing. All money ain't good money.
All money ain't good money.
Right, because some people get in their own way. Some people have been trying to buy a house for years, and it's been everybody's fault. So, like, if I get someone and I'm their third agent, yeah, I don't even want to sign an exclusive agency agreement with them. I'm like, yeah, let's get to know each other first, because I want to believe it wasn't all 3 of those agents. Just saying, like, some people are in their own way, some people, and it's like, listen, I get it, but you have to trust me as the expert. I appreciate.
So what do I need to? What kind of questions would you recommend me asking as I'm interviewing the other real estate agents? Because I don't know really what you all do, and I'm learning more from this show. So, like, how do I ask these types of questions to, get some information so I know whether an agent is somebody I should trust or not?
Right. So the first thing you want to talk about are expectations. For example, availability. If you're only available on the weekends, see what the agent's availability is. There are some agents out here that don't work weekends, and you want to know that ahead of time. Location too. I mean, I service quite a broad area, but I also have a team to help me show properties and so on. But I can get you in a property. If I can't personally, I have someone that can. Availability. Also, past client reviews, so you can look them up online.
Okay.
Yeah, that is critical. If you are looking to do work with grants and incentives, if they're familiar. And now I'm going to tread lightly on saying that that's the agent's responsibility, because honestly, that's really the lender. There's a huge mystique in real estate that the agent should know about grants and incentives. No, it really comes down to the lender knowing, because depending on what type of loan product you're using, you may or may not be able to use or stack different grants and incentives with that loan product. Some loan products will only allow one, and some you can stack to your heart's desire. And by stack, we mean using multiple, where I've had people get tens of thousands of dollars towards their closing costs and down payment. So being knowledgeable about the areas. By law, we can't steer clients to or from an area, but for me personally, I give them a list of sources and resources to do their own independent research. and determine where they ultimately want to plant their feet. But by law, I can't steer them and say, oh, no, you shouldn't move there, or, you should move here, and so on. So rather than do that, I just say, here's some sources where you can look up crime ratings, schools, if that's a factor for you, and all of that, and then decide there how, where you ultimately want to plant your feet. So just your agent should ultimately be a huge resource to everyone else that you're going to need in the process. But in addition to that, they should be super knowledgeable in the contracts and the addendums, which is a little more technical from a realtor standpoint. And the average buyer doesn't know that, but their client reviews will say it all, I think, personally. Yeah.
So what if you have a real estate agent who's not really online? Is it cool to ask a real estate agent for like client references, or is that considered disrespectful? I mean, if they're not online.
I don't know if I would give out, because I'm very territorial over my clients. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to put their personal, like, for instance,
no, I understand, but
go ahead.
Reason that I say this, and here's the thing, and because again, this is the cool part, y'all, because I know her. I know that you have at least 3 people that I know of that you can pick up the phone and call if you needed a reference.
Right.
So not that you're just giving away people's information, and not that you're like putting it on bathroom walls. Hopefully you're not doing that, because that'd be disrespectful. But yeah. Well, it depends on which client. But sorry. Some of your clients.
You know what? Different show.
That's for Titillating Tuesdays. We're gonna get to that later. No, wait. We do have a show now called Titillating Tuesdays. My show on Tuesdays. Do you remember Stacey Dennis? The Zeta who used to work for works for the health department? You might not have met her back in our GBLA days. She's a disease intervention specialist and a sexual health educator. So we talk about sexual health. We talk about particularly when it comes to what parents can do to be more responsive to kids. And again, I know this is not about real estate, but it's my show, so I'm going to tell you what she said the last Titillating Tuesday, and talking about the need to educate kids. So she was talking about having to explain to young girls who are heterosexual, inspect the penis before you engage in whatever. And she said, and then understand what it means when you inspect it, because she was talking to this one girl, she in her late teens, like 17, 18. And she tested positive for, I think it was gonorrhea or chlamydia. And when it might have been gonorrhea, and when she talked to her about was there any discharge, she said, yeah, a little bit, but he said that was because he was really excited. So, well, what color was the discharge? Green. But because she was new and she had heard about pre-cum and stuff like that, so this must be what it is. And this is granted, I didn't know I was going to try to tie it in this way, but let's see if I could go. It's a long walk. I'm going to see if I can bring it back, because I realize I'm off the rails a little bit, and I wanted to give my show notes. This is similar to why you need a real estate agent, because you may do the right things and think you're looking at the house, but then when the house starts oozing green or the pipes are not slanted appropriately, then what you going to do? Because if watch this, wait, I think I'm going to stick the landing. Okay, wait. Because if in your example, because you gave me the example, your example about the pipes going straight down versus sideways, that's like it looking green.
I can't with
you. It had green discharge. That pipe is green discharge now. In my mind, for the rest of forever, pipes that go straight up and down are going to be green discharge.
I can't with you.
So, Titillating Tuesdays on the morning show. Tuesday.
Okay.
From 10 a.m. to 11. But yeah, so get sexually health educated and a real estate agent, not the same person. Well, they could be the same person. Again, you know what? This is taking another turn that we need to U-turn away. This is a left. We're not a full U-turn. We're going to take a left. Get left. Because this is about to go all the way off the rails. All right. Got it.
So yeah, you definitely want to, and so here's another, I guess, mystique, if you will. For the most part, the seller pays the commission. A lot of people go into the process thinking they have to pay their agent as a buyer. And I'll be honest, that varies. Because I know for me, I don't accept, under 2.5%. So, if there's a commission that's paying less than that, I let my clients know when we have our consultation. So if we come across a house that's paying that, you're going to be responsible for the difference. It'll be rolled into your closing costs, but very rarely do we come across those. So, it's not an issue. But again, the key is communication. And I communicate this with them. I don't try to slide it on the back end behind their back and hopefully they don't catch it. No, I let them know ahead, like, this is what it is. But typically, you don't pay your agent as a buyer, you don't pay your agent's commission. And then when you're a seller, you get the fun of paying the commission for both sides. Right. So,
and that's what that technically means is that, and so I understand that, but like from a buyer's perspective, it doesn't really change much from my side. Like I still got to pay whatever my closing costs are, right. And whoever depends that is just doesn't really change them. It's the same thing. It may just mean my balloon payment, or not balloon payment, but my mortgage may be higher and those types of things.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I try to use
really
metaphors.
Affects the cash to close amount.
Right.
The amount they have to bring the amount of cash they have to bring to closing, whether it's a wire, a certified check, or money order, whatever the title company tells you that you are, you can bring whatever form of payment.
So here's another thing that I appreciate, that the communication that you do. I remember we had this conversation before. I remember the first time I bought a house. We had talked to our agent about like how much we should be prepared to bring to the table for closing. I was like, okay, got that. And then the title company sent us the thing in advance of closing. The number on that was way higher than so I immediately panicked. It was like 10,000 more. I was like, look, this is what I was talking about. They trying to cheat me. This is the man trying to hold me down. And But what my agent didn't explain to me is that initial one is just the raw what I will. It's kind of like the bill you get from the hospital before they add your insurance payment into it. And the closing costs, it was kind of like my copay. That's how I ended up understanding it. Right. But when I first got that bill, I was like, oh no, we're not doing this. This is people trying to steal my money. I don't even got that kind of cash. And this is my family, and we were going to dream. We were going to build a family there. And
right.
It got out of hand.
Working with a realtor, I actually get involved. I get all up in their business as far as their lender. Me and their lender become besties. We have to. And so here's the thing, by law, a buyer has the right to choose their own lender. Absolutely. And I let them know if their lender end up doing something crazy.
You can't vouch for somebody to pick.
I can't, exactly. So one of the things is when they say, oh, I'm pre-approved, I need to see your pre-approval letter. And in addition to that, I advise their lender to give them a loan estimate. A loan estimate is critical because it gives you 3 numbers to help you determine if you can buy a house. It lets you know what your down payment amount is going to be, your cash to close amount, and most importantly, that I call it the PITIMI, your monthly payment. PITIMI, that's the principal and interest. That's the loan piece. The principal is directly to the loan. The interest is how much the bank is charging you to borrow the money. Then there's the taxes, which are your property taxes. Okay. Then there's the insurance, which is your homeowner's insurance, and if applicable, mortgage insurance. Wow. So one of the things I always vet the lender as well, because some lenders will tell you what your monthly payment is going to be, and it's just the principal and interest piece. They don't include the taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance. Because that'll change everything. Yeah, exactly. So I like to know that ahead of time because I'm big on not wasting time, gas, or money. So if before we go out and start looking at houses, I need to make sure. In fact, I just wrote a blog about how to know when your overall financial strategy is locked and loaded. Because you want to, and I vet their lender. Like, did you verify their income? Did you verify their, employment?
Sorry, time out. Time out. Am I on your distribution list?
What you mean?
Because you said you did a blog. What I don't remember seeing an update for the blog.
I put it on my I did a link in my group, my private group.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't know if I didn't know
you're in my group.
I don't remember getting this update. Okay, because I need to. What platform are we on? Because I'm
Facebook.
feeling feelings right now, and I'm trying to keep
No,
them. What
you're in my
platform?
group. You like my stuff. My Romers, Real
Oh,
Home
okay, that one,
Buyers
that
of
one, that one. Okay,
Maryland.
when did you do the blog?
I posted it. I want to say last week.
Yeah, maybe I haven't been. Okay, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
check because
yeah.
you know I'm sensitive because I feel I don't like being left out of stuff, and I was like, oh
Oh
my
my
god, people get the
gosh.
blog and I don't even get the blog.
No, but yes, because I hear the horror stories from my colleagues. They working with a buyer, find out, the money was X. It turns out being Y. There's $3,000 shortage. And I'm telling you now, I'm a great agent. I do not negotiate any parts of my commission. That would be equivalent to asking someone who worked 40 hours to work 40 hours but get paid for 30 or 20. So sometimes I have to speak buyer's language, and that's a conversation I have with my buyers. So this is
And
why
it's a real conversation because that's not even reasonable to expect.
yeah, but no, some
No, I didn't say they didn't expect it. I said it wasn't reasonable.
right. So I have to let them know at the door I am not paying any portion of. I will help you all I can help you, but I work for this and I want every dime of it. So we need to make sure that this is for your house that you're going to live in, not me.
All right, so this is what we're going to do right now. We about to close this all the way out because you coming back. You can't keep coming back. I love it. I love helping to educate people so that they can understand they can be successful in real estate. So
Yeah.
tell them how they can get in contact with you.
So my website I have a website. You can search for properties and the whole nine. It's Tomeka Givens Realestate.com, all one word. I also have Facebook, Maryland Living with Tomeka Givens. You can also follow me on Instagram at Tomeka Givens. And yeah, those are pretty much, I'm on LinkedIn if you have a LinkedIn. And those are the ways. My phone number, direct phone number is 443-845-1137. And you can call or text me if you have any questions about real estate. Get at me and I'll respond.
And she will give you top quality information. See the truth, y'all. Y'all know I don't bring y'all no people who be sidestepping and stuff like that. All right, Tomeka, I'm going to let you go, and I am looking forward to seeing you again sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
Such a pleasure to be on here, and I appreciate the opportunity as always.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
We will be black tomorrow.